Tommy V in Michigan. He was on fire this morning.
Okay, thank you, Tommy V in Michigan. Yes, sir. If you share my prayers.
Tommy V's on. Yeah, we'll jump over there.
Tommy V doing great stuff over there.
Morning for purposes of sentencing, the defendant having pleaded guilty to a lesser included offense of count 1 being felony of the 4th degree attempted failure to comply. Parties are ready to go forward.
All right, Mr. Watson.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. My client has a history, and not only that, he has a history with this court. Your Honor, on this offense, my client was driving without a valid license, which in and of itself he shouldn't have been doing. And when a state highway patrol officer came up behind him, my client made the further horrible decision to try to flee. Now, he did elaborate on that in the PSR, and hopefully you'll hear from my client in just a minute about how stupid that was. But he took off, and after a while, he came to his senses and said, you know, I'm not going to do this. I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna take my medicine, if you will. And he did, and he stopped, and he cooperated with the officer. Didn't put up any type of argument. It's my understanding he was even played with the officer. Your Honor, subsequently, he was out on bond, and he kept driving, and he picked up a driving under suspension out of Painesville Municipal Court, and it was because of that offense that this court then revoked his bond on this matter. Your Honor, my client has 3 children he cares for, 2 biological children, 1 stepchild. He lives with his mother. He's trying to work. And from his perspective, he is so deep in a hole with regards to his driver's license issues that he sees no way out. And again, from his perspective, he's driving, doing these things to try to care for his kids, and obviously he shouldn't be doing any of this, Your Honor. And again, in the PSR on this offense, he's admitted, he flat out said this is very stupid of him. He should have never run from the police, even if he didn't have a license. He was worried about, of course, his car being impounded, all the money he'd have to pay, another driving under suspension. Of course, he just compounded his issues by a magnitude of 10 by picking up a felony, fleeing and eluding. But, Your Honor, he does have a plan. If the court would consider any type of a community control sanction for Mr. Little, you know, he has a job, so he is employed. He, again, is caring for his kids. And I've offered to sit down with Mr. Little to go through his driving history with the Ohio BMV. Now, I'm sure we won't be able to just get him a valid license within the next few weeks or a month, but I'm sure we can get him on a payment plan, start getting the ball rolling in the right direction to get a license, and in the meantime, maybe get him some driving privileges, some legal driving privileges, so he would be allowed legally to drive to work and care for his kids, and then he wouldn't be picking up driving under suspensions and doing these stupid things, Your Honor. I know in the PSR he admitted to using drugs as well, I believe marijuana and cocaine while out on bond, and he's also admitted that he has some mental health issues, Your Honor. I know, based upon his history specifically with this court, that he has not shown a positive track record for probation. But, Your Honor, even though it's only been 2 years, a lot has changed. I think he's a very sincere person. I've talked to Mr. Little numerous times in the jail, and he is committed to caring for his family, for caring for his kids, and he is committed to doing what he needs to do to try to get a valid license, so he's not going through this repeated cycle of picking up driving under suspensions and making the stupid decision that he did in this case of running from the police, Your Honor. So I'm asking the court to please consider any type of community control sanction, whatever the court deems he may have to do while on it. My client has indicated he's willing to jump through those hoops, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Why do you keep doing the same stuff over and over again?
Your Honor, like, honestly, it's, like I said, it's more so the mental and just like the feeling of like being stuck and not getting ahead.
What about the drugs?
And like I said, even with the drugs, like, I'm so confident that I can, like, the drugs is not really the problem. I do drugs when I feel a certain type of way. Like, I can come in here.
What? Like what?
Like this all started when, I'm explaining from the beginning, this all started when my job was seasonal. So I lost my job for the season. My car, I had just put like $1,000 into it. Then, you know, I had to get it out of impound before for something. Then this happened. And then my issue with my kids. So like, it was just the feeling of being, like, I feel like I'm just in a hole that I can't get out. And that's when I, you know, do other things. But I feel like if my mental,
What other things?
that's when I, you know, I use, you know, smoke weed.
Okay. What kind of drugs?
Just, I mean, I use cocaine, I smoke weed.
Okay.
But like I said, I feel like if I had to get drug tested every day, it's not a problem. As long as I can get my mental, like, addressed.
What's the mental health problems?
It's just like the depression, and just like I said, it's the feeling of being stuck. You know, I stay with my mom. I get in my room. I feel like I'm stuck in that room. Like, I feel like I'm in a jail cell in my house, in my room. Like, I feel like I can't get out there. Every time I get some money saved, I get a driving under suspension. I save up $3,000, $4,000, get a car, put in somebody's name. The car lasts for 2 years, a year. You know, I can't save enough money to get ahead. It's just like a feeling of being like stuck. And, you know, I'm only 31. And these last 4 years, like, have been the longest that I've lived with my mom. Like, I've never lived with my mom this long. Like, I just feel like I'm stuck. And then when it comes to that is when I just get in my emotions, and that's when I start doing stupid stuff. You know, I'm still going through it with my daughters. You know, that's a whole different story. My son, I'm all he has. His mom's going through her issues. You know, my mom can't even come to court today because she's got to watch him. You know, grandma is going back and forth watching him. Like, I really need to be there for him.
What was Miss Randazzo a couple of years ago on this obstructing official business? Do you know what that was? Do you know the capsule of what the facts were on that?
You mean like?
Hold on.
The actual offense from last time?
Yeah.
I can pull it up.
What do you remember about it, Mr. Little?
I had gotten with my kids. I was over at the grandma's house.
Okay.
Police came.
All right.
Touched me.
That's what I recollected as I was sitting here looking at you. So what's the status with your kids right now?
With the girls, it's the same thing. Like, you know, when the mom's cool with me, and it's crazy because the mom doesn't even have custody. Grandma has custody, but
And you don't get along with her, right?
when me and mom get into it, instead of the grandma being the, you know, the high road, the one in the middle that's supposed to, you know, she goes straight with her daughter, and then I'm, you know, like I've been blocked on their phone. You know, the police have been called talking about harassing because I'm trying to get a hold of my own daughters. I even called the Painesville police and asked, like, if I call my daughter's phone, would I be charged with anything or something? Like, they blocked me from them phones. It's just like a pawn with them. And I know for me to ever see him like I want to. I got to get it on paper, but I can't get it on paper to go do them if I'm not in my own house. If I don't have a valid driver's
Well, you
license.
can get it on paper to get visitation with them. Doesn't matter where you're living.
But like even this summer, like we were fine this summer for a while, and then it got the driver's license. You know, I mean, I get it. I was driving without a license, but I was picking my kids up every day of the summer. We were going to do stuff, and then it became, oh, you don't have a driver's license, and like I said, their daughter gets in the middle when the grandma should be the one who is in between. Their daughter gets in the middle of her not liking me, and then
All right,
starts
so
this stuff.
but this is a, so this problem surfaced here 3 years ago, right?
Right.
So why haven't you done something to get over to juvenile court and at least get some schedule?
Because I still haven't got. I feel like last time I had a plan, but I didn't have like a real plan to execute. Like I feel like this time I really do, but even then, like I can't get my license. I can't even go pick my kids up. I can't take them to the park. I can't go. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what are you gonna, I mean,
Well, what he's talking about is I can actually get privileges
I know what he's talking about, but why haven't you been talking about that?
because
Why haven't you done that?
I mean, like I said, I just got to the point where I just felt stuck. I mean, I got the car, I was working, I was saving up. You know, I got out in, I believe, January, started working in March. I worked all season, I had some money saved, I bought a car, I got the car fixed, and you know, the season was over.
Where were you working?
It's called Hydro Seeding Pros in Macedonia.
Okay,
We do like the hydro seeding.
so what were you doing in the off season then?
In the off season, I was in between jobs. I was working at produce processing. It's in like Wickliffe, border of Euclid and Wickliffe. I was working there for a while, and then I had the car issues, and then I was stuck. I didn't have no way out there.
Why did you stop showing up at probation twice?
Honestly, Your Honor, because
I always prefer the honest answer. So-
honestly, I mean, I was scared. I mean, I knew at the time I had violated. I knew I had weed in my system.
I'm talking about on the old case.
That's what I'm saying. On the
Okay.
last one, yeah. I mean, I was scared. I had weed in my system. I knew I was gonna violate. And
How
at
did-
that time, it was just like everything was weighing in on me.
How did you think you were going to avoid all these patrol units back in November?
I came to my. I mean, like I said, I panicked, and I made it 10 times worse.
How far did you go before you finally stopped?
I think he said it was like 8 miles.
11?
10.95.
I stand corrected. Why did you stop?
Because I realized I wasn't, like you said, where am I going? What am I doing? I can't keep running from this.
That's
Right.
that's like a microcosm of where you're at in life, right? Where am I going? What am I doing? Right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I feel like before I didn't have the game plan. I had it, but I didn't
You didn't execute it.
execute it. And I know now, like, I can't. And my main thing is I have to get a license. Like, I cannot go my whole
It's
life.
pretty hard to go to prison on a felony 5. Pretty hard to accomplish that.
You know, you were very, very understanding, for sure.
Some people's understanding is another people's stupid, I mean, some people, you say I'm understanding. I bet other people think it was stupid, but,
I mean, regardless of what you do today, like I said, you are like a very fair, I get what I've done. I'm ready to reap what I sow. But I just ask, like, once I do whatever I gotta do, like, just please help me so I can get this.
well, I'll tell you that the BMV is a lot different than it used to be. And they seem to bend over backwards to give people their licenses back. Okay, but they can't bend over all the way or they'll break their back, right? You got to meet them halfway or else it don't work.
See, my problem, the BMV I owe, but my problem is with the courts. Like Painesville City Court has the warrant block or whatever. And he was saying, you know, if I have an open case with you, I can either file with them or with you to get my privileges. And then I just have like, I think I have something in Ashtabula, a warrant from like 5 years ago, a traffic warrant that I can take care of. But if I can get Painesville to take the warrant block off and let me get on a payment plan with them, because like you said, the BMV, I heard it's like $25. You pay
Yeah,
$25 a month.
I don't know what they do, but it's not like it used to be. What's a suspension on this one, Mr. DePiero? Is there?
This is a license forfeiture suspension.
No,
looking at-
I mean for this offense
there's none,
itself,
because it's an
because it's the
attempt.
attempt?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything else you have to say?
Just like I said, I'm embarrassed for sure, you know. But I just need, like, I know this is the time right now. Like, my kids need me, I need me. And like
How old are they now?
My son will be 6 in December, Nevaeh will be 10 in November, and then Jada will be 7 in June. And like I said, it's just, even with the girls, you know, we don't have the good relationship with I don't have the good relationship with their grandma and mom, but I can at least say the girls they're taken care of, you know. I don't really have to worry, but when it comes to my son, like, I'm all he has. His mom is gone. It's grandma and grandma. His grandma, his mother's mom, she owns a beauty salon. You know, she takes him to daycare. She gets him during the week. My mom's 70 years old. She works full time. She picks him up after daycare a couple of days a week. Like, it's really just them two. And like, he needs me. And like I said, like, when it comes to sobriety, like, if I gotta pee every day, like, that's not a problem. But my main thing is, if I were to get out or wherever I go, whatever you do, like, I want to address my mental health. Like, just something for the depression, maybe talking to somebody. You know, last time I just had an evaluation. I went to Signature Health, and they gave me an evaluation, and it cleared me. They didn't, you know, give me any program or nothing. It was just a mental health evaluation.
All right. Mr. Shapiro?
No, Your Honor, it's, I told Mr. Watson that I would advise the court that at the time the defendant finally stopped the vehicle on Route 2, the defendant did put his hands outside the window as ordered, and he was compliant with the officers and respectful and cooperative. So I'll advise the court of that. It's not easy living right. And I can understand how, having created a hole over the last 14 years and being on probation, which it appears from the record has been just about every minute of his life since 2010. And of the 12 times that he's been on probation as an adult, there's been a violation in each case. I can understand, and then these successive suspensions and then driving under suspension, where that would feel like it's a tremendous hole that you've gotten yourself into. And the answer, of course, is not to keep avoiding it. And I think what Your Honor said about the defendant's conduct in this case being a microcosm of his life and the decisions he's made is apt. It's apt. I don't know this man. You know, the state of Ohio has an interest in him getting his license and not committing more crimes. But I, representing the state of Ohio, cannot say that the defendant is amenable to community control based on the history, and based on the bond violations here. And the conduct in this case is consistent with some of his priors. He had a couple violation protection orders, the obstructing. The nature of these offenses is he's not following the rules, he's not following the law. Failure to comply is another form of that. And so he's being ordered to stop, he doesn't stop. But what makes it worse now is that we have innocent people that are endangered thereby. So as much as I'm pulling for the defendant, I want him to get his life together, maybe he's got some mental health issues, those are his issues that he's got to deal with. We can't be endangering people in the world. So I can't say that he's amenable to community control. I have to recommend prison.
All right, thank you. Okay, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report. And the docket with regard to the last case when you were here in 21. And I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 29, 29, 12, and 13. So Mr. DePiero makes a very good point. 2 points. The first, that you first came in, well, when you were 18 is when the adult offenses started. 5 years before that, you had some as a juvenile, so you've been bouncing around in this in these courts since you were 13, right?
I got a juvenile. I mean, what was it for juvenile?
Juvenile, you got I won't count that one.
I know I went to
Not
jail.
crossing in the crosswalk, we're gonna let that one. Theft, you got a theft and a trespass as a juvenile, and then you start with the adult offenses. So you've been doing that since you've been an adult. You've been on probation a whole bunch of times and failed at probation for whatever reason, one reason or another. The last time here was 2 of your violations were just not showing up. I think the second time happened about 6 weeks after you got out of jail from the first time of not showing up. So you've done a lousy job on probation. Now, your problems stem from and are compounded by 2 things. Your inability to get your license cleared up because you got all these driving offenses, which, as you said, dig you the hole. And the second is playing around with the drugs. Actually 3. The third is your situation with your kids and the grandmother and the girl and all that stuff that we all know well about, all that stuff. Okay? So you got these 3 things that you circle round and round and round, and you're going down the drain. And you don't seem to have either the ability or the will to stop the circling. So unless you stop the circling, no matter what I do, we'll see you back for the next several years, right? I mean, isn't that kind of the reality?
No, that was a good way to put it. The circling, going down the, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you back on community control. And I'm doing that despite your little 10.95 mile jaunt. Because that disturbs me. That kind of shit disturbs me. You're going to serve 69 days with credit for 24. The last 30 days, you're going to be in the jail treatment program, and you're going to follow their recommendations. So if, I don't know if you think you have a drug problem or not, but you do, okay? So you're going to do that. You're not going to have any drugs or alcohol, and you're going to be screened. You're going to get a mental health evaluation and follow the recommendations. You're not to go to signature, because that, in your case, and in more times than not, is a colossal waste of time with that organization. So, now, maybe they made no recommendation last time because you gave them a line of bullshit and didn't tell them the truth, okay? Now, maybe if you were being truthful with me, and you have this problem where you get into this funk and there's no way out of it, and that and your mind feeds off that, then you do the drugs, maybe you'll be honest about it, and maybe you'll get some help if you need it, okay? If not, it's this thing, right down the drain, right?
Yes, sir.
So get that evaluation, follow recommendations. You're gonna get a valid license, you're gonna get your warrants cleared. And Mr. Watson has generously offered to work with you outside the normal scope of his duties to get that done. Anything else, Ms. Randazzo?
Yes, Your Honor, I may have missed it. How many years of supervision?
5.
And would you consider decision points?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So you're gonna do the decision points program, which will start when you're in jail. And if you don't complete it, you'll complete it on the outside. You understand all the terms?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to do, right? I mean, this may be too much, but I don't know what else to do. Any question about any of the terms?
No, sir.
Okay, if you don't comply, then I'll violate you and you'll go to prison for 18 months. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Mr. DePiero?
Is there an employment component to the term?
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, full employment. Now, you may want to consider getting out of this seasonal work and developing something else to do that gets you out of this jackpot of having money for 8 months and not having money for 4 months. But whatever it is, work full-time. Anything else, Mr. Watson?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
All rise.